This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
This is fine.
This is fine.
Okay, ladies. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I heard about it. Guess where? Are we going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's okay. I heard about it. I bet you can't guess where I heard it. Like 2 guesses.
Daily Zeitgeist.
Yes.
Anyway, nailed it.
So
I probably heard it too.
Yes, you probably heard it too. But I listened to this and I was like, we must share this. And I love that Christina doesn't listen, so that it's like fresh and new for you.
Yep.
So there are these 2 women who are married to very famous soccer players, football players in England.
Okay.
And they call them like wags, which is like
same thing we
wives
call them.
of athletes, whatever, wives and girlfriends. That's what it stands for.
Oh, okay.
Like athletes. And so there's these 2 women. So Colleen Rooney and Rebecca Vardy. They are in a feud right now.
Oh,
very serious feud. And the feud stems from Colleen Rooney. She's got a very private kind of social media. Her social media is very locked down. It's very private. And she was noticing that a lot of the things that she was sharing, like personal things she was sharing in her Instagram stories, were ending up in the sun. And she's like, so somebody close to me, there's a rat, right?
Ooh,
there's a rat.
Smell a rat.
There's a leak.
Yes.
There's a leak somewhere in my social circle. And I need to figure out where this leak is. So she had some suspicions.
Mm-hmm.
And so she blocked everyone on her stories except one person.
Ooh.
And then for months, she played the long game. For months. For 4 months, she shared fake stories about her life on her stories. So she got on her stories and she just like made up shit, like kind of scandalous shit about her life, and waited to see if it would show up in the sun.
Yeah.
And it did. And so she made this post. I think she made this post on Instagram.
The story that she shares with the sun, though, is crazy.
What's that story?
Let me get my tea hair.
Oh, get your tea hair on.
Yes.
Get your tea hair on.
It was like something like she was going to get pregnant with like, it was something really weird about like a pregnancy or something.
I know that she was making up kind of like really like bizarre, scandalous things because she wanted it to like, end up in the sun. She wanted it to be juicy.
Yeah.
So she posted this on her social media. It says... And this was, so she posted this. She says, this has been a burden in my life for a few years now, and finally I've gotten to the bottom of it, ... And then she posted this big, long thing, like in notes. She like typed out this thing.
Oh,
I'm going to read it right now. So it says, for a few years now, someone who I trusted to follow me on my personal Instagram account has been consistently informing the Sun newspaper of my private posts and stories. There has been so much information given to them about me, my friends, and my family, all without my permission or knowledge. After a long time of trying to figure out who it could be for various reasons, I had a suspicion. I tried to prove this and came up with the idea. I blocked everyone from viewing my Instagram stories except one account. Those on my private account must have been wondering why I hadn't had any stories on there for a while. Over the past 5 months, I have posted a series of false stories to see if they made their way into the Sun newspaper. And you know what? They did. The story about gender selection in Mexico.
That's what it was.
The story about returning to DV. And then the latest story about the basement flooding in my new house. It's been tough keeping it to myself and not making any comment at all, especially when the stories have been leaked. However, I had to. Now I know for certain which account/individual it comes from. I have saved and screenshotted all the original stories, which clearly show just one person has viewed them. It's ... Rebecca Vardy's account.
Ooh.
She called her out. And these are 2 like famous women. Like they're famous, in England. So she blocked Rebecca Vardy, was basically like, bye, bitch.
Bye, bitch.
She called her out and then blocked her so that she couldn't communicate with her. And so Rebecca Vardy posted on her Twitter.
Oh, God.
She added her on Twitter at Colleen Rue, and she said, as I have just said to you on the phone, I wish you had called me if you thought this. I never speak to anyone about you, as various journalists have asked me to over the years can vouch for. If you thought this was happening, you could have told me, and I could have changed my passwords to see if it stopped. Over the years, various people have had access to my Insta, and just this week I found I was following people I didn't know and have never followed myself. I'm not being funny, but I don't need the money. What would I gain from selling stories on you? I liked you a lot, Colleen, and I'm so upset that you have chosen to do this, especially when I'm heavily pregnant. I'm disgusted that I'm even having to deny this. You should have called me the first time this happened.
Oh, she got caught.
Oh, she got
caught. So caught.
Like, what, really? Like, you think that someone is using your account to look at this other bitch's account to share fake stories about her? Like,
That's
really?
Too much.
Oh, it's amazing.
Too much.
I love it. The drama.
I need a new like drama to follow, because we had for a while the makeup artist.
Oh, that's
feud,
right.
Oh,
and that
yes.
was very satisfying.
Hashtag Team Tati. Yeah. Tati T. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I heard this and I was like, God, I love a good feud.
Well, I love the commitment.
Yeah.
5 months.
5 fucking months.
There's no way I have the patience to do 5 months.
Not 5 months
She
of
was
anything.
gonna get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. She found the lead.
Dude, the first one I had, I'd be like, oh, this bitch did it. Look at you. I knew it was you.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But she was like, nah, I'm going to get a few
She's
stories.
Like, I need reinforcement. I need more evidence. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, just brilliant.
She's like
Beautiful.
Sherlock Holmes the fuck out of that.
Yeah,
Sure
she
did. Amazing. It was amazing.
That's awesome. Well, what else? Oh, I have to share with you ladies a couple of things. Number one, I watched the Tinder TV show.
Oh, dear.
No way.
Yes. So it alerts your phone if you're on Tinder, because it airs Sunday nights at 6 p.m. and it's called Swipe Night.
Imagine
and it's like
being an actor who gets
telling
cast
you,
in this thing.
and
Oh,
you're like,
God. No,
Good.
Don't.
It's
don't
good?
tell me it's a good show. Oh, gross.
Oh, no.
it's this weird choose your own adventure. Basically, like, you start out at a party. First of all, like, just like film quality, they got apparently it's the fucking dude from, or not dude, the chick that does a lot of Drake videos
Okay.
filmed it.
Interesting.
So it's pretty cool, and they worked with like a marketing firm, which
A lot of music video like directors are actually really good directors. Like the guy who did Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of music videos.
So anyways, like, it starts out and you're at a party and you're watching like the closest comet ever to the Earth is going to be passing through. So you're at this comet party and it like asks you like to do one thing or the other thing. Like, you're with your friends. Do you want to dance with your friends, or do you want to go off and talk privately with somebody?
Never go
And
off.
it's-
That's how you get stabbed.
And then at another point, like, there's a couple having an argument, and you go upstairs to like use the bathroom, and you see like the dude cheating on the girl in the bathroom, and it's like, do you?
Tell that bitch.
Yeah, and then you have
Tell
to
her.
like ask, like, do you want to tell her, or do you want to cover for him?
Nope.
Like,
Tell her.
all these things that is like, it's kind of cool to like, you know,
Yeah.
it shows up in your profile,
And
then
you know
that
what?
you're like, yeah, I fucking told on him, and like, yeah, I did this. I saved
Yeah.
the dog over the human.
do
Like,
you just want to straight out and come out and tell people you're trash on Tinder by being like, no, I covered for that dude.
shockingly, a vast majority of guys were like,
They're like,
covered.
I'm not getting involved with
Oh,
this.
well,
Yeah.
then you know exactly. I mean, I got to give it to Tinder here. It's like, okay, well, you know which guys not to fucking date now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, don't date that guy.
I think that's kind of inherently a guy thing too, because
Bro code is stupid.
But I think that there is also this like, I'm not getting involved with that. Like, I don't need to be mixed up in somebody else's business.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But it's not real
Where-
life. Do it.
So like,
True.
what ends up happening is like the comet, like something splits off and it's like getting brighter and brighter, and like this thing like alerts on your phone. It's like, it looks like a text message, and it's like, there's actually 3 hours left before
shit.
near extinction level impact thing. So this thing is hurtling towards, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, why am I so riveted?
Why am I so
You're
invested?
like,
I'm so invested. And so then now you're making choices because like the world's gonna end.
So it's like
you know?
a game.
Yeah, it's like a game, and it's filmed really well. It's shot really well. The acting's like, it's
They
fine.
needed the paycheck.
It's
I get it.
definitely like geared towards people a decade younger than me. You
think
know
so?
what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels very, very like markety and a little like 20-year-old-ish. You know what I mean?
Got it.
But fucking great idea.
Yeah.
Because it alerts you and it's like this event. And so like a bunch of people were on Tinder to watch that thing, which is super smart.
Yeah.
And the way that it incorporates like actual decisions that are useful, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I mean,
oh,
I
this
would
guy-
say it's marketing genius.
Yeah.
It is marketing genius.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has the tendency, myself included, myself probably the most, to like roll your eyes about like fucking Tinder's gonna do TV
Right.
now. Like Facebook does TV, YouTube does TV. Like everyone's gonna have their own streaming platform now, you know, and that feels gross, but it's also like this does make sense as far as gathering data
Yeah.
and matching you to people.
Yeah.
And yeah, if people are just gonna straight up tell you they're trash, so you don't even have to bother like swiping right on that person to find out 5 months later.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So yeah, I'm
Right. And if they didn't play, they're probably married.
yeah, but
So I think that's how you know. A Sunday night and you're on your phone playing a Tinder game?
yeah. So yeah, I don't know if I'll get to watch any of the rest of them though, because that's like part 2 of my thing is I do not have Tinder on my phone right now. I am quote unquote seeing someone, I think. So
that's happening.
that's happening.
You look so uncomfortable right now. You look like you're gonna like
I know.
wiggle right out of your skin.
I'm really
exclusive.
yeah.
Exclusive.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Exclusive.
try that out for a while, and see what happens.
Try that out for a while. That's like
Sounds like the end is like a timer.
it's like yeah. You've got like one toe in the water, and you're like,
Yeah,
we'll see.
test this.
We'll test this out.
exactly.
Is it warm enough? I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll find out.
Toes-
Maybe
toes in
eventually
the
it'll
water.
be like ankle deep. I'll be ankle deep.
Exactly.
Just
It's
the
Slowly
dust.
moving.
it's been a long process, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you invested. Join the Facebook group if you want.
If you want the tea.
If you want the tea, put on your tea hair and join the Facebook group. And
Put on
I'll,
your tea
I'll
hair is
get,
the funniest
I'll give
thing.
the whole shenanigans. So yeah.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
Oh, we have merch.
That is
Dude.
Huge. Yeah. So we have merch. So I know, I'm glad that we have merch now because Anthony was listening to our episode and he heard the Alternative Dream Design ad and he texted me and he's like, where can I buy your shirt? And I'm like, oh, well, we don't have the store up yet. So if you've been hearing that
And you're annoyed with
and
us.
you're like,
we're sorry.
why? Now you can go to myworstdatepodcast.com/merch and click on the button to take you to our threadless shop.
Yep.
Where we have 3 designs currently and we are crowdsourcing more ideas. So again, join the Facebook group because there is a thread going for quotes and things that people want to see on t-shirts. So
Yeah.
if you want to share your ideas, go there. But yeah, and check out our store for sure because I'm
Dude, I'm
super
totally
excited.
getting a Who Raised You phone case.
Dude.
I'm so excited for
I
it.
love the Who
I
Raised
really
You.
want the tote. I want the tote from
Yes.
the Alternative Dream Designs.
Yes.
Yes.
Design. I want that tote. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some cool stuff on there, and we've got more stuff coming in the works. Very exciting. Oh, by the way, so that lasted all of one episode. Us off the top, starting with.
I know. I was over here like, I didn't realize we were recording yet. I was ready. And you just went right into it. This is all part of
Sorry.
your master plan to not go along
I mean, it
with us being
really
professional.
wasn't.
It's cool.
But
cool.
I'll take it. You know,
But this is my worst date, and I am Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
I almost said I am Keegan because I was looking at you.
I'm Keegan. Excuse me.
You're like, no, you are not.
Oh my God, Christina, we
Yes.
need to tell you this story because Cassie and I, we haven't recorded in so long because we recorded 2 back to back and then we took like a week off. So it's been like almost 2 weeks since we recorded.
It feels like forever.
I know. And a while ago, Cassie and I went to the podcast movement, like meet and greet
Yeah.
So fun.
in like downtown LA. It was really fun. But this one girl told a story that is so bananas. But she didn't want to write it in because it wasn't hers. But I'll just give you like a brief version of this story because
You're gonna shit.
I was like, oh no. Okay, so she meets this guy. I think it was on Tinder, they said, or like some dating site. So she meets this guy. They go out on a date. Everything seemed like okay, but like she's like, it was fine, you know. But she goes home at the end of the night. She goes home and she starts feeling like there's somebody in the house with her. She's like, I feel like there's someone in this house with me. And she gets like really nervous. So she gets on her phone. It's a landline phone. She gets on her phone. She calls the police, which first of all, girl, follow your intuition. Like, cause I would be like, I'm being ridiculous. I would be like, I'm being insane.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably
I think there
fine.
was like something off that made her think this too. Like, I think there was like something.
Yeah, there was probably, you know, something was moved or something like that. So
Dude.
she's feeling like something is wrong. So
Yeah.
she calls the cops. While she's on the phone with the cops on her landline, the cops tell her, okay, we're sending somebody out there because someone just picked up another line in your house.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So-
I'm so
Yes,
scared
this
right
is
now.
such a
This
spooky
is,
Halloween
this
story.
is so creepy.
So
oh my God.
they're like, there's definitely someone else in the house. Like, be careful. We're sending somebody right now. So she's like, okay. Then she walks into the kitchen and there's a tarp on the ground with knives.
No.
Laid out.
Yes.
No.
Laid out.
I
Yes.
hate this.
Yes.
Oh my God. I am flipping out. I'm
Yes.
so scared right now.
Yes, it's so scary. It's the most scary thing
my
of
God.
all
The
time.
fucking scariest
Oh
shit.
my
It's
God.
the scariest thing of all time.
A fucking tarp on the floor of her kitchen.
Tarp. So this guy was prepared. He had a tarp on the floor with knives. So the cops show up and they catch the guy, and it's the guy she just went on a date with.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes. So he followed her home from their date.
I mean, are you fucking kidding?
It's the scariest thing of all time. Like, honestly.
Oh my God.
And it's the number one, like, trust your intuition story of all time. Like, if you might feel like you're being ridiculous, but better safe than sorry. Like, if you feel like something's wrong, call somebody or get out of the house or something. You know what I mean?
How do
Yeah.
you recover from that?
You never feel safe again.
How do you ever live in that house? How do you ever
live on the bottom floor anywhere ever
my
again? You know?
God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Isn't that
a
terrifying?
fucking tarp?
I have chills.
Yeah.
Oh my
Full body chills.
God.
I mean, and this could be a creepypasta. We don't know, but I'm choosing to believe that is
Yeah.
a thing that
Dude,
happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, she said she knew the person, right?
Yeah, she said she knew the person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, whew.
Wow.
Woof. Scary.
Wild.
I
I don't like
Super
it.
wild.
Wild.
I don't like it either.
Mm-mm. Not my favorite.
We also have new patrons.
Yeah, we do.
That is my favorite.
That is my favorite. So we have 2 new patrons. So the Best Forevers podcast, which is a fellow
Yay.
Lady Pod Squad podcast, they became our patron. So thank you guys
Thank you.
so much. Thank you for joining our Patreon family. And also, listeners, go check out their podcast. It's
Yes.
Best Forevers. And we also
She also has
got-
another podcast too. That's fatalities.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And we also got another patron, Janani Srikanth. I hope I said your name right. But thank you so much. We appreciate every single one of you. Honestly, like, it has been such an incredible year for us.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting better and better. And we hope to keep providing you with more and more stuff, more merch, hopefully some touring going on. Like, we just applied for our LLC.
Yes.
So we are fancy business ladies now.
V fancy.
V fancy. And yeah, so thank you guys so much.
Yay. Well, what else do we have going on? We got a fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that. My gosh,
I
I was so excited about merch that I'm just
Yeah, I know. You're like, I didn't even think about
merch, bitches. We've been talking about this for a fucking year. Like,
I know.
I
finally.
feel like we should do maybe Halloween-y
Ooh, yeah.
characters.
Let's do like maybe wizards or witches.
Oh,
or
we can
You know
do
what we could do is like,
What if we did like Mike Myers, Freddy Krueger, and
oh
freaking
God,
Jason?
Jason.
There we go.
All right, that's it. That's
Okay,
it. We're done.
there
We're
it
good.
is.
We found it.
We found
Excellent,
it.
excellent.
It sucks. I hate all of them.
Oh my God! But
Okay.
you got to break
Okay.
down the characters. Okay, so you got
Okay.
Freddy Krueger. Only
just
like at night
nightmare.
it comes in your nightmares.
But honestly,
sleep.
being sleepy is like my least favorite thing ever. And like
wanna
not
sleep.
not being able to sleep
right.
sounds terrible.
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
Truly, truly terrible.
And then you've got Mike Myers,
Oh, yeah.
who is like
He's
total like
classic.
mama's boy. Well,
Yeah.
isn't in the first? Oh no, that's
You're talking about
Jason.
Jason.
Yeah.
That's
I was gonna
Jason
say.
is the mama's boy.
Yeah.
And in the first movie, it's not even. It's
his
actually
mom.
his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does go on in one of the many
Yeah.
sequels to kill a lot of people.
yeah.
But Mike Myers is the classic horror movie villain where it's just like he's slow but
He's the
very
scariest.
effective and will never die.
Will never die.
Like he just doesn't die.
But what's his scoop?
I
He's
mean,
just crazy.
he's just-
he was like a crazy bad kid.
it's honestly the worst. Like when you watch the movie, it's honestly like the worst example of a psychiatrist ever because the psychiatrist is just like, he's just evil. What do you want from me? And it's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
what?
That's not.
I don't think that's how this works at all. Like,
I want a pill or something
Yeah, I
this kid
mean-
could take. You know.
yeah.
You sure he doesn't have ADD?
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't classify mental illness as just being like, he's just evil. That's,
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
not
to
how
tell
that
you.
works. Oh my god.
But okay, so I think I know what I would do. Ugh, God, do I know what I would do?
I don't know
this is such a
either.
such a gross idea.
I
but
hate all this.
Yeah.
I think, well,
I think I know.
I think I'm going to kill Freddy Krueger because one, fucking scissor hands.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that?
No,
first of all,
you can't. Yeah.
not hot
Yeah.
either at all, face wise.
Now, are we all under the assumption that these three are like in love with us and wouldn't kill us? And that's like going in like
Okay.
I
Sure,
think we have to
can
go
have
in with that.
We can
with
have that assumption. Yeah.
So,
we can have
yeah.
that assumption. But
We're
but
just married to
still,
serial killers.
But still,
We just didn't know. I didn't know.
I didn't know.
Mikey just has that face. It's just, a face only a mom can love.
Oh,
God.
yeah. Freddie, I'm gonna also weird things. The kids there's
It's
nothing.
a lot.
There's nothing creepier than like kids doing a like nursery rhyme in unison.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
And I don't dig it. It's not my favorite.
No.
So I'm gonna kill him. I think I am going to. It's been so long since I've seen.
I know. I feel so like.
I've seen Halloween recently, but I haven't
Yeah.
seen Friday the 13th in a long time.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm gonna fuck Jason.
Okay. That's hockey mask.
Yeah, I don't want to be married to him because of the mommy issues.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to take care of you.
Yep.
So yeah,
You're going to marry Mike Myers.
yeah, I'm gonna marry Mike Myers because I'll be safe,
Yeah.
assuming he won't try and kill me.
Yeah.
Although
He'll kill
although
everyone
he-
else.
He has sister issues, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's so weird.
So I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna marry Mike Myers. I guess.
I think I'm actually going to marry Freddy Krueger. And here's why.
Okay. Yeah. Break it down.
He only kills in dreams. So part of me is like, is he a serial killer? Because like they were dreaming, and so like we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. plausible
prove-
deniability.
Yeah, like
yeah.
prove
prove
he
it.
did it.
Prove
Like,
it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need like fingerprints, something, anything.
Which you're not getting fingerprints either with those
Yeah.
like creepy gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are gloves. It's knife gloves, and he gets those off.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
knife gloves.
God, and
There's no red
honestly,
flags there.
That fedora. Am I wrong? It's terrible.
It's terrible. You are wrong.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I was kidding. He actually seems like the funniest of them. Like
Yeah.
he seems like he's got a bit of a sense.
He
of humor.
does
That's
a
true.
little bit. He smiles more than the other two.
He's got a real sense of imagination.
Creative type.
Yeah,
Sure. Wait, I'd like to see his Myers Briggs.
yeah. Oh my God, what an ESFP. Am I right?
He's definitely more of a extrovert than the
Yeah.
other two,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. He's a real. He might actually be more like an ESFJ.
Oh,
More
yeah.
judgy.
Little judgy.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
judgy. If I'm,
Being honest.
being honest, exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna marry Freddy.
Cool.
I don't love the name. I'm gonna say it like
Could you call him Fred?
Freddy.
Frederick?
I don't like Fred,
Fred.
either.
Freddie is better than Fred.
Yeah.
Freddie
Yeah.
is better.
Yeah.
I like Freddie.
Yeah.
Like,
Wonder
did you
what
ever
his
watch?
name is.
Cassie Krueger.
Oh,
That has a nice ring to it.
Oh, I
That's
like
nice.
that. It does sound like I'm going to murder people.
Yeah.
it
Cassie
does.
Krueger, for
yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm here for it. Okay, so then I am going to
Keegan Myers. I could live with that.
Yeah. I am going to kill Mike Myers. I can't with that face. I mean, I know that Freddy's is bad, but that face is Melty McMelterson.
Oh, that mask
The
that
mask,
he wears,
the William
so
Shatner.
weird.
I know that it's
Yeah.
William Shatner mask, right? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
creepy.
It's the creepiest shit ever.
It's so scary.
And he's scary.
Yeah.
He is
Jason
scary.
is a mama's boy and has mommy issues.
Yes.
So I am just going to fuck him
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's
okay.
the one who has real sex issues anyway. He does not like other people having sex.
Yeah.
So you really can only fuck him once because you know it's going to be all shame based.
Yeah, he's gonna
Yes.
cry
He's
after.
going to hit himself in the back. Like,
Yeah,
like penance.
flagellate. Is that
Exactly.
what that's called?
flagellate. I think that's farting, but flagellate.
Well, that's what that's called, isn't
Yes,
it? Self-flagellation.
flagellation.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
whip yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will cry.
Oh yeah. He's
Yeah.
gonna cry during sex. I have a feeling it'll be fast. We'll be over quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um,
and then
so-
you can just slink
And probably
off.
outside
I
too,
don't
given
know.
his like summer camp.
Also, too, is he allowed to kill after he's done the thing that he hates so much? Like, ooh,
Oh, you might
No, but
actually
his
save
mom,
lives.
his
You've actually
mom might
saving
kill
lives.
you though. That's something we didn't take into account. If
right.
she finds out you fucked her son,
Oh.
she will kill you.
okay. Well, I'm gonna have
So-
to have my husband take care of her, and I think he could.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
have faith
in
for
him.
sure.
Go to sleep, bitch. I dare you.
Bitch, try and stay awake. Night, night,
wait,
bitch.
sorry, wait, what was that?
Sleep well, bitch.
Sleep well, bitch. It's the best.
Oh my god, you gotta marry Freddy just so you can say that line.
Yes.
Sleep well, bitch.
Yes.
Well, I am actually going to marry Mike Myers. I think
okay.
that mask is really scary, but he's the strong, silent type. And
Yeah, he's not gonna talk your fucking
no,
ear off.
No, and he's just like, yeah. Out of all three of them,
He's
that's what I'm
resourceful.
going.
He
Yeah,
manages to like break out of like several institutions. I feel like throughout these movies.
so
like
strong and
Yeah.
kind of seems like a sad boy, which we all
for
know,
Oh,
sure,
you love a
He's the
sad boy.
saddest of the three.
total type.
Yeah.
So yeah, a real
I feel
fixer
like Jason
upper.
might be the saddest of the three. I mean,
Maybe.
if we're doing sad boys.
But I also think fucking Freddy Krueger would be fun.
Right?
I gotta go, and he's definitely very creative and very
he seems funny. Am I right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's the funniest one for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, of the three, I think
He's got such a sense of humor.
He is. It's true. You're
I
right.
mean, that shirt. We could do something about that. But what's his name? Wears like
Yeah,
what,
we make
overalls,
it. You know
right?
what?
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on.
you just got to send Freddy on
What is this?
Queer Eye.
Child's Play?
You just got to put
Nice
him.
bibs, dude.
You just got to put Freddy on Queer Eye and get
Oh,
him a
yeah.
makeover.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Bring out-
Jonathan Van Ness can do something like some cream for
Yeah.
that burn.
That skin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll,
yeah.
we'll fill that in. Like
Oh.
one talk sesh with Karamo, and he'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Oh my God. That burnt hot dog picture.
Yes.
Where somebody was like, who says burnt?
It was Rachel who posted that.
Oh my
Like,
God.
who wants this burnt ass hot dog? And it was like Freddy Krueger's face. It's like, hi.
It's like a dick pic.
pic.
Oh,
Jesus.
God. Oh,
But yeah, and then I'm gonna kill Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
it's just like
boring.
and
He
you
is
know how I
boring.
feel about mommy issues.
But sad boy, you kind oh, wait. Time out. I do know how you feel about mommy issues. I do know how you feel about sad boys. I'm actually surprised you're not marrying him.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie.
I know. No, I can't.
She's
I
learned.
can't. I'm cannot.
You've
Do better.
grown-
Know
you-
better. Do better.
You've grown as a human being. Yeah. We've moved on.
Yes. Yeah.
I understand. This was a very fun fuck, marry, kill. Actually, that's wild. One of the more wild conversations we've had.
in the spirit of Halloween. There we go.
I like how
Amazing.
serious we took it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to take everything into consideration.
Fuck,
Honestly,
marry, kill is
Be serious.
It is.
V.
yeah.
Serious.
we
business.
want to give real answers, real truths on this podcast.
Nothing but the truth here. That's what you come here for.
Yes.
This is what you came for.
So, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we're back.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go first because I have the crazy in love. And this story came to us from our mail. And it says, "Hey, ladies, I'd like to preface this by saying I absolutely love your podcast. And not only have you made me laugh, you have taught me a lot about self-worth. And I'm always excited for a new episode. So thank you."
Yay.
No, I love it. Now, without further ado, this story is a little long, so let me regale you with the story of my worst date I have ever been on. I live in Arizona, and at the time I lived in a forest town that acted as sort of a vacation town for people who live a couple hours south of the desert. With that being said, the story starts in November when I was taking my dog for a walk in the neighborhood. By the way, the title of this is My Dog Lied to Me, which is hilarious.
Yeah, you trust your pets.
You do.
Yeah.
They can lead you
right?
astray.
And she even says it's a dog that wasn't on a leash, or a dog that wasn't on his leash ran up to us and started playing with my dog, who loves other animals, but very few humans. The other dog's owner came running up to us and put him back on his leash and apologized. But I told him it was fine, and our dogs were having fun, and my dog actually liked this guy. So what harm could be done? I do trust my pets.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I told you, I definitely, if I had a guy over one time, like Tig, my dog is the sweetest.
Nicest, the sweetest.
The nicest.
Yeah.
So Tig
loves everyone.
Tig loves everyone. Tig came up and put his head on this dude's knee because he was sitting on the couch, and the dude like pushed Tig's head away. And I was like,
oh, get out.
we're done.
Yeah, get out
We're
of my
done
house right now.
skis. Yeah, I was just like, that told me every single thing that I need to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had a really sweet dog, like a really sweet dog who was sweet to everyone. Like, and we had one friend, and to this day I don't know why, but we had one friend who anytime he was around that friend, he would growl.
Oh,
and he
geez.
never growled. He'd growl and bare his teeth. And I was like, why? Like, because to this day I don't know why. Because we were still friends with that person. He never showed any signs, but it did make me wonder, like, are you a serial killer?
What deep secret are you hiding?
Yeah, if years from now it's just like, oh, he had bodies in the basement, I'll be like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's why my dog growled at you.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Chuck. Rowdy Piper over here. All right. So, boo, boo, boo. I invited him to walk with us so our dogs could play, and he and I clicked instantly. Now, this man, he was a strong 9 on a bad day.
Ooh.
And as I found out on our walk, he was about to go into the Marines. So he was also ripped AF. Yeah, good on good. I'm here for this.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, he's got a dog. He's super hot.
Yeah.
We're in.
We probably spent about an hour just talking the time away before it got cold and started to get dark. So he offered me his jacket and walked me back to my house. I know, right? This is all a plus, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to take a turn.
Before we got back to my house, we of course exchanged numbers and planned a date a couple of days from then. The first date was absolutely great, and so were the several following dates, where I learned that we share the same political ideas and agreed on many things. On those dates, however, I learned that he lived in the city that was 2 hours away. His family was vacationing with him before he had left to go join the armed forces. So our time together was indeed limited. He left about a week after.
I love a summer fling, though.
I know. Summer loving, November loving.
Oh, yeah, you're a fall fling.
Yeah.
Fall fling, exactly. He left about a week after the new year, and that had been that, or so I thought. A few months later, I ended up having to live with my grandma, who lived in the same city as he did, because she was living or having some health issues, and I went to take care of her. The Marine caught wind of this because he followed me on social media. So when he was on break, he texted me and asked if I wanted to meet up with him. Small town, life is short. And so she was like, absolutely. So I was like, fuck it. What could go wrong? I mean, they've already done.
Yeah, exactly.
Never asked that question.
Yeah. Well, it starts with red flag number 1. When he wanted to meet for lunch in the middle of the week, I asked him to give me a ride because I didn't have a ride. Oh, shit. I don't know. I didn't have a ride at the time. He gave me a lot of shit for it and made me feel like I wasn't worth the 25-minute drive, but he ended up picking me up anyways. We arrived at 11:45, 45 minutes before he was supposed to be there. He pulled in a truck chewing on tobacco.
Huge turnoff for me. Yeah.
Literally what she says. Huge turnoff.
Yeah, don't like that.
Ugh. I had gotten ready early that day, thank God, so I looked like a snack and a half.
Nice.
Clean.
I didn't ask where we were going either, which turned out to be a huge mistake because it turns out looking your finest as a motherfucking smash burger is very uncomfortable.
Smash
burger.
Before we ordered, he asked me if I could order from the kids menu so he could save money.
Oh, I don't like that.
And because
I
he
hate
said,
it. If you can't afford to go on a date, don't go on a date.
Well, and yeah, it's just also like I just think it's a personal turnoff for me. People that are like kind of like stingy or frugal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
it's
Right,
smash
or-
burger, motherfucker. You want me to
Yeah.
order off the kids menu?
Yeah, or
Okay.
you should take her. Again, we've talked about this on this podcast before. You don't need a ton of money to go on dates.
No.
Go get ice cream then. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, go do something else that doesn't require a full meal or something. You
I've
know,
got
coffee.
yeah,
tons of
cook for
stuff.
her. Do
Yeah.
something else. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to go out to dinner if that's how you're going to be about it. Like,
yeah,
Right.
because like it makes me very uncomfortable. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
It's,
just
just
awkward.
well,
it's
because
just
now
so awkward.
all I'm thinking is like, oh, I'm imposing
Yeah.
on this
Imposing,
person.
yeah.
Like now, even though I'm ordering off the kids menu, I'm like very conscious and cognizant of like, oh, I don't want to spend too much money. I don't want to make him spend too much. It's like,
and that's
so
so
weird.
ugh,
weird.
it's just an uncomfortable position to be in.
Also,
Yeah.
at that point, I would just like, you know what? You get yours, I'll get
I'll
mine.
pay for
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, so he could save some money because he also said I took too much food home because I never finished it. So they'd been on dates before, and apparently that was something that stuck out to him. I was starting to get more and more pissed, but being too polite to say anything, I flimsily agreed.
I feel like everything about this is a very Midwest.
I know.
He's chewing tobacco and she's too polite to be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I ordered from the kids menu. We sat down waiting for our food. We start talking. It was like a totally different person. He started calling me a libtard and how we, quote, snowflakes are too sensitive. He also started talking about how if the South had won the Civil War, Arizona would be rich. And started talking about how he was a white motherfucking supremacist.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
really expect this because, he is Mexican. What in the fuck?
Okay. Did we've talked about the Mandela effect or whatever. Did like something happen like where like a parallel universe, like in a different
maybe it's a body
this guy
snatcher.
it's like, oh God,
you know?
that's so weird. It was just a few months went by and he like completely different person. Oh my
What
God.
the fuck? I know.
He was radicalized really quickly.
Very
Somebody
quickly.
radicalized him.
His rantings went on for a bit, interrupted by meek comments from me like, no, Arizona was a territory at the time and the Civil War had no bearing on the state. Or,
That would be me. I'd be like, excuse me, can I interject for just 1 second?
no, slavery was a really bad thing. I was looking around, making sure no one was looking.
Okay.
And then it's when I realized that he had only been pretending to be liberal on the first few dates that we went on to try and get me to fuck him. This became prevalent
no.
while I was trying to eat my fucking 2 crusty chicken strips when he had the gall to go nauseate me even more by loudly talking about how he would fuck me if he had the chance. This got quite a few people to look at us, so I immediately grabbed my phone and was sitting face up on the table, not ringing at all, put it up to my face and said verbatim, "Grandma, you need me to come home? I'm on my way." As I set down my phone, I looked at him in the eyes with fury of 1,000 men burning through my gaze and told him to take me home. He seemed upset and got up in a huff and got his truck without a word. As we were driving, he reached into his glove compartment to grab some more dip.
Oh, I was like,
But
Oh, yeah, that
Two.
scared me too. Mm-mm.
But to my fucking surprise, there were 2 guns in
Yep.
there.
Oh, there we go. That's
Yep.
what I thought was going to happen.
Yep.
Oh,
He
I'm scared.
turned on some hick ass music, and the lyrics were about a cowboy raping people in the woods. So when he continued talking about how he would fuck me, I was
Honestly,
scared
this is an insult to Hicks.
for my
Yeah.
life.
As
Yeah.
someone from the Ozarks, this is an insult to hillbillies everywhere. Don't-
As somebody who likes hillbilly music and just reintroduced myself to country music, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
yeah.
No.
We pulled into my grandma's house and he stopped in the driveway saying he had a good time and he wanted to do it again sometime. Since I was scared, I just said something shakily like,
Yeah.
uh-huh,
Oh, yeah. You've got
Sure,
guns.
Ike.
Thanks,
Sure,
Ike.
Ike.
Yeah.
Thanks for the chicken. Good time. And tried to exit the vehicle.
Thanks for the chicken. Good time. Good time.
He then locks the door before I can leave and says, "Can't I get a goodbye hug?" Then proceeds to capture me in a fucking straitjacket of a hug and shoved his green apple tobacco tasting tongue down my throat.
Oh, it's flavor too.
I kicked him with both of my legs with all of my strength I didn't know I possessed, grabbed my purse and got the fuck out of his car. When I made it inside my house, my grandma asked me why I was home so early, and I burst into tears and told her about the date. She was holding me and I was ugly crying. She told me that I didn't get dressed up for no reason and took me to get ice cream.
Oh my God, Grandma!
My grandma, bless her heart, got his number from my phone and wrote him a strongly worded text about how disappointed she was in him. And told him not to contact me again.
I am triumphant right now. I love your grandma. I just picture her. She's pushing the glasses up on her nose. She's like,
strongly.
Hand me your phone. I'll take care of this. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. A strongly worded letter.
Dear sir, I cannot believe you.
How dare you treat my granddaughter this way?
Oh
Talk to
my
her
God.
ever again.
Oh my God. I love it.
And that is the story of how I went on a date with a pervert white supremacist who wasn't even white, and how my grandma is the best person in the world.
Aww.
Thank you for reading this and keep up the excellent work, ladies.
Yay.
Oh my God. So it seems like today's stories are going to be cautionary tales. I don't know.
How do we do this?
Because this one, so this one isn't super funny, but I feel like it's kind of like one of those that's important to tell on this podcast.
Good. Yeah.
And also, I guess this is a good time to mention, if you are a patron or thinking of becoming a patron at the $5 level, we just did What's Love Got to Do with It? And oh my gosh.
Fucking love
so
that
many
movie.
lessons to be learned in that movie.
So much.
Okay, so with that said, this came in through our website, and the subject is one of many bad dates. Good afternoon, ladies. I've been binging the podcast since I stumbled across it last week. One of my worst dates ever took place in 2004. I met a handsome and charming coworker for drinks on a Tuesday night. We were having a nice time, so we decided to catch a band after playing at a nearby bar where things really took a turn. First, a weird dude up at the bar uncomfortably stared at me for a good and slow 2 minutes before telling me that he wanted to cut my face like the Joker's.
What?
Okay.
Time.
So your night is already off to this start.
I left immediately.
How it's starting.
Ooh, I get
and this
chills.
isn't her date. This is just somebody
Some weird
weirdo at the bar.
Oh, I don't like that.
God.
I was having fun and wasn't going to let some creep ruin the evening. Well, then my date told me that he had a record that he wanted me to listen to and wanted to stop by his place before taking me home. So his place was his parents' basement. Not a huge deal since he was only 21, but he made me crawl in a window so his parents wouldn't wake up. This has happened on more than one occasion on this podcast.
Oh my God.
People have to climb in and out of windows. Stop making your dates do that.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it.
I can
Jesus
picture it.
Christ.
You know, it makes me think of that date that I went on where I was like, "Where's your bedroom?"
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he's like, you're right here on the floor.
I don't climb through a window.
No.
I mean, maybe
this is
it's because
21.
I'm like 37.
That's the difference.
Right.
21-year-old.
I think
I might have.
24, 25 is the cutoff for
Sure, I
climbing
might
through
have.
windows.
Yeah.
And even then.
I'm not getting wet.
It
does not turn me on.
The
Hell no.
audacity of asking a woman to climb through your window. Like,
listen to a record?
The audacity, truly.
Is your by listening to your record, do you mean you're going to recite your record from the police department?
Oh
my God. Okay, so I finally get in the basement window to pick up the record, which I soon found out didn't exist. He kissed me and then obviously expected things to go further. So I told him that I had a good time, but nothing was going to happen, and asked him to take me home. He refused, told me that he was too horny because I was so hot.
Listen, mom and dad are about to wake up real goddamn soon.
Right. And would only take me home if I at least gave him a hand job.
No.
I fought it until I was absolutely exhausted, upset, and just wanted to go home. I also had to work in the morning and really needed the job. So
my
unfortunately,
God.
I gave in. I was a shy and non-confrontational 23-year-old. So afterwards, he rolled over and slept for the next 30 minutes while I sobbed next to him. Finally, after all of that, he took me home. Yes, I had to crawl back out through fucking mommy's basement window. I didn't tell anyone after because I was embarrassed and ashamed.
Oh my
Please don't use my name.
God.
So yeah, I mean, it's... I know it's not funny, but I feel like it's a very real experience that women who, especially in their teens and early 20s, I've been in a position where I didn't know what to do and definitely done things that I didn't want to do to get out of a situation.
I've done them in my 30s. There are times where I'm just like, it's just easier.
Just easier to chew your leg off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and
then
it's also scary. You're in a position where, like, you climbed in a window to get in this place. He lied to you to get you there.
Yeah.
You are in his house.
Yep.
And, like, it's a very vulnerable position to be in. And it can almost be like when you give a no and you give, like, a soft no, you're afraid of, like, the
repercussions,
the rising violence that could ensue if you are more forceful.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it's this very scary situation to be in. Yeah. And so, yeah, I know it's not like a funny story, but I thought it was one that we should share.
It's important to share. And it's easy in this situation now to say, I would have done this, and this, you know, because in my mind, I'm like, his parents would have fucking woken up because I would have ran up the stairs. I would have,
or just make enough noise.
Make enough noise. Yeah. You know, I would have. But I also am not 23 years old speaking this, and I'm not in that position.
And fear can stop you from doing a lot of things, you know. And so thank you for writing that in.
We're
so sorry
giving
that
you
you
a hug.
went through that.
Yeah, it's a fucking shitty situation.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Well, my story is also a cautionary tale.
Oh shit.
Cautionary tales.
I'll let you guys figure out at the end of it what I am cautioning against in this tale. So this is just called the diarrhea story.
Oh,
God damn it. God
goody.
damn it. Anthony will be very happy. He loves poop stories.
I did too. I was dating this girl for about 6 months when we went to a big film party sponsored by some vodka company. My date got fucking
real vague.
Hammered.
Vodka company.
Like unattractively hammered. Yeah. So we're driving home and I look over and she hikes up her skirt and starts pissing all over my seat.
What? No.
Soaked
No.
the thing.
No.
You wouldn't think a girl, a human, could expel that much liquid, but here we were.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine the shame receipts she had the next day? Like the next day when it slowly flooded back to her what happened the night before?
Oh, we just getting started.
Oh no.
That was
it is called the diarrhea
amuse-bouche.
Oh.
If you will.
No.
Of this shame receipt of all shame receipts. Because if I was this girl, I'd be taking a real long look in the mirror.
You gotta cut off your fingertips at this point. Like you gotta change your identity.
Pull all your teeth out and get new ones.
You're dyeing your hair and moving to that small town. Okay. We pull into her house and she opens her door and runs inside. I had to run around and close her door because it was a 2-door Sunfire and those doors were like wings. Took me a few seconds to head inside.
Also, like, is your... sorry. Okay. I have to, like, get my thoughts together.
Get your bearings.
So your seat
is covered in piss.
is soaking in urine.
Yes. Yes. By the time I get back to running around to the front of her house, I notice she's standing outside hunched over a small garden. I'm assuming she's throwing up, so I go over to check on her, but she puts her hands up and says, "Stop, I'm shitting." And I look down, and there's diarrhea all around her feet. She literally exploded.
Oh. At least it wasn't in his fucking car.
I didn't know what to do. But fuck, man, I had to do something. This was one of those, how the fuck did this become my issue to fix situations?
I don't think it is. I think you can leave now.
This isn't even your house. Bye.
Yeah. I think you're done.
But they've been dating for 6 months.
It wasn't.
This wasn't a first date. This was like, they've been hanging out for 6 months.
peeing on my seat. We're no longer dating.
I'm gonna say,
Yeah, I think we're.
and then shitting in a garden. Yeah, we're done. Oh my god.
You can't recover from that. You can't look at that person in the eye
next line.
anymore.
Here's where things get interesting.
Now? Here is.
Now is when.
Okay.
Okay.
I would argue that it was already.
Yeah, I was
Interesting.
interested,
I was
at the
interested,
beginning.
You
So
had me at piss.
You had me at the subject line. I mean,
exactly. I ended up calling her sister. This girl took literally 10 minutes to come to the door, but when she did, she had 2 kettles of near boiling water. The girl I was with ran inside, and her sister came out, handed me a kettle, and started pouring it all over the shit. I did the same.
this is something that this girl has
floored
done before.
to learn this wasn't her first time doing this.
Oh.
No.
So then I go inside to find my girl. She made it as far as the upstairs bathroom, where I found her naked, laying on her side, throwing up, shitting, with a tampon string hanging from her amongst all of it. I learned a great deal about how capable a woman's bowels truly are on that evening.
Why?
That is all of the things. Literally. This
Every orifice that can have something coming out of it
is everything.
Has
is
all of it.
everything going on.
Wait. Time out. She pissed, hiked up her skirt and pissed in his car and
Yep.
had a tampon in.
Yep.
That's all.
I wanted to point that out. I mean, honestly, like, and this is gross, especially for our male listeners, but like, period shits,
They're legit.
they're for real.
You know, I actually I read up why that is.
I did
It's like-
too one time.
Yeah, because I was like, why is
happen?
this
Yeah.
happening to me? What is happening to me?
While you're crying.
Yes. Finally, once she was cleaned up and ready for bed, like 2 hours later, I left, got into my car, and realized my passenger seat was still soaked. Oh my God.
Is this the
car
only
was
acceptable
rank.
time to ghost someone? Where
Yeah.
you're just like, I think, I don't even,
think we're
sorry,
done
I just
here.
like hit the table super hard. I'm flustered at the moment.
And he says, so I guess you could say it was a pretty good night.
What? I'm
I'm
sorry.
like, can I get a
get a
follow up, please? Like, are you
Yeah.
still dating? Are you married?
What was
Like,
the conversation
you
like the
married?
next day?
I mean,
You either get married or you ghost. Because,
Exactly.
like,
those
are the only two options. Because
You
it's
don't
like, you cannot, that's the worst you could possibly see another human being.
Yeah, is everything. Throwing up, shitting.
And this
on
was
your
a regular occurrence for
the
her.
sister
Maybe
was
you
like,
should-
hold on.
I think you need to sober October, ma'am.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because if this is something that's
maybe
happening,
vodka. Maybe you're allergic.
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, an allergy doesn't cause you to hike up your dress and piss in someone's car. I don't think I've ever been that drunk.
I told you guys one time I peed on a dresser.
But that was like in the middle of the night sleep
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So that's way less shameful than this.
But I have done that. I've peed on a dresser. I have never shit in a garden.
I will say that I'm not above having popped a squat in a place in semi-public hidden situation.
Done that too.
I've never
in an
done that.
emergency,
Like,
but I've never shite.
I've definitely peed in somewhere before, but
Yeah.
like I've never like taken a shit in public.
No.
Like, in a Krispy Kreme parking lot.
Oh my God.
I've never taken a shit.
Oh man.
Oh
No.
my God.
Yikes.
Oh, on many bikes.
Several bites.
Have you seen the one that's like yikes on trikes and it's like triceratops? I loved it.
I don't think that's trikes. I think that's triceratops.
Yeah.
Trikes would be like a 3-wheeler.
Oh my God.
Oy, oy, oy. All right. Well, crazy in love time.
Let's
let's
do
do
it.
Okay, so I'm going to preface the story by telling you that I took a cheater's way out and literally just because this week has been crazy for all of us.
Yeah.
Mostly because we have been working heavily on getting the
Business
LLC
stuff. Yeah.
done and getting our merch out. And so it's just been kind of wild. And I literally was like, and then we weren't expecting to go out last night.
Yeah.
So,
But we had to.
sure fucking
We
did.
had
our,
to.
our
Our
favorite
bar.
dive bar that closed last summer reopened.
Yeah.
The
And,
best. And it's
mandatory.
clean now,
which is bizarre.
but still like divey,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
love. It kept the energy and
Sans cockroaches.
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. The bathrooms, I was impressed.
I sat on the toilet seat.
Amazing.
yeah,
Christina?
yeah,
You?
same.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like we were going to get
Yeah.
murdered.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So,
Okay, sorry. So I took a bit of a cheater's route and did kind of one of my semi-favorite things to do, which is find something on D that looks interesting
Yep.
and hunker in. And so I did that with a little show called Fatal Vows.
Oh, gotta love that.
I love that there is a show for anything that you want to watch. There's a
Yeah.
murder show for anything that you want to watch. It's very specific.
yeah,
You know what? And there's a lot of murder shows specifically geared toward us. There's a lot
yeah,
of
like Murderous Affairs.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So this story is about Michael Taylor and Pamela Gray. This story is also, I find interesting because, again, we just did for our Crazy in Love movie, we just did a story about the Ike and Tina Turner story about, or the movie.
Yeah.
What's love got to do with it? Yeah.
And so there's some interesting things at play here that, I have some questions about some validity of certain things. So we'll walk our way through it together.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So it's 1985. Michael Taylor is 15 years old. He's visiting Memphis. He's in town from Arkansas. His mother and father had divorced. His mom was living in Arkansas and his father was living in Memphis. So he was visiting.
Picture Memphis in 1995.
85.
85.
Yeah.
Big hair. The
Yeah.
biggest of hair.
The biggest of hairs. And he meets Pamela Gray at the ice skating rink. The cutest meet cute you've ever heard, right? So
They run into each other.
Yeah,
on the
he's
ice.
hanging out with friends and they decide to go to this ice skating rink, and which is like, a big hangout at the time. And he meets this adorable girl. He sets his sights on her and he's like,
She has the biggest hair of all.
"Y'all, the prettiest gal I ever did see." And they instantly fell for each other. And much to his mother's surprise, who's living in Arkansas at the time, she gets a phone call from him and he's like, "Listen, I met this girl, but also the schools are real good here and I think I need to move back to Memphis."
It's too fast food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before he heads home, and his mom is interviewed on this, and she's like, "Hell no, get your ass back to Arkansas now."
Yeah.
Basically. And he's like, "I can live with dad or whatever." And so their
Mom sees
like,
the red flags.
Mom's
She's like,
like,
absolutely not.
yeah.
You're
So,
15.
Yeah. Refuses to do this move. And so
He's 15?
yeah.
Yeah, if my 15-year-old told me he wanted to move for a girl,
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
no.
I mean,
I'm
and
so sorry.
She's newly married and starting like a life in Arkansas. And so
Can you
it's
imagine
like,
the fights in that house too when he comes
God.
back all sullen.
Oh
Yeah.
God, emo
Salty.
AF.
so
Listening
mad.
to The Cure, 1985.
You don't understand. I don't even understand, Mom.
ruining my life. Because his voice is breaking still at 15. I don't know. Anyway, they start a long distance relationship. So they're talking on the phone every night and constantly, having back and forth conversations and keeping
There were probably
up their
legit
relationship.
letters too, because
Oh,
it's
I'm
1985, so they're writing actual
She
letters.
puts the hearts on the eyes.
Absolutely,
For
yeah.
sure.
Totally does.
like very bright pink pens. Yeah.
And so by the time he's 16, gets his license, he actually starts making trips up there to see her. He is committed to this.
Wow.
Yeah, he's really into her and they want to spend as much time as they possibly
Meanwhile, like 90% of single women can't even get a text back. You
Okay.
got this kind of dedication.
Yeah.
like
He's like, "I'm here for this."
15-year-old.
I know.
Well, his mom finally does concede and moves them to Memphis. She gets a job in Memphis, and just a couple months
Wow.
later, his mom's husband ends up moving down and getting a good job there as well. So it all kind of ends up being for the best.
How did she convince her new husband to be
Right.
look, I'm sorry, we have to go to Memphis. He
He's
needs
his
to have
kind of
this
girlfriend.
relationship.
So fast forward 4 years into their relationship. I mean,
Jesus.
they met at 15. So, I mean, at this point, they're, almost out of high school at this point.
Yeah.
They're,
Well, they probably are out of high school.
yeah. I mean,
19.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or very close. I mean, I graduated when I was 19. So, Yeah. Pam, at this point, 4 years into their relationship, Pam is actually becomes pregnant. So kill surprise.
Yeah.
They're definitely having the sex.
Yeah.
Though
4 years, yeah.
Though the families aren't happy, they do end up being supportive of her keeping the baby. And, it's like, yes, this is just the way it's going to go. But her mom specifically was like, I don't want you guys to get married. But they do end up moving in together.
Okay.
And they decide to get a place together. And so they move in. And one of the reasons that they decide not to get married is because she's on her mom's insurance. And if they get married, she's not going to...
Surprisingly, level-headed and reasonable parents here.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I know
especially
a
for
lot...
the 80s.
Yeah, and for the Midwest. I know a lot of, the southern Midwest, because this is Memphis.
South, yeah.
I know... a lot of families who would be like, you're getting married.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? So
the opposite of that.
Yeah.
But they're like, you're going to lose your insurance. This is not going to be
It's
a
very
financially
responsible.
smart move for you. And after playing house for a bit, Michael quickly tires of this responsibility. And he's like, he's so young. They're young. These are kids. I remember this age. I mean, hell, I did have a kid at this age. So, I mean, I can relate to this story.
Probably his first and only girl-friend.
Yeah. And same for her.
Now
he
they
used,
have
up, he used up all his commitment in the first first 2 years.
Yeah.
He's sick of playing house and he gets tired of the responsibility and he ends up moving out after only a month. And they split up and try their best to co-parent. So, they're just going their separate ways, but they do have a daughter together and decide that, this is not working out between us, but let's make it right by our daughter and let's move forward. So they do move on. Pam becomes an LPN. She gets a great reputation with her coworkers and her place of work.
That's a nurse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Licensed
Practitioner nurse.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
Go with that.
Certainly.
No.
My friend Kylie will be messaging me immediately after she listens to this. And she'll be like, this actually means this.
Come for us in our mentions.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I deserve the shame.
Yeah.
She is has a great reputation with her coworkers. Her coworker was interviewed on there and even said she comes to work to the nines every single day. She always came looking her best. She was just a really great person, always had a great attitude, etc. Mike as well. He is training to become a welder and an AC repairman. They're moving on with their lives.
Great. Yeah, sounds good so far.
Pam ends up marrying a local police officer. His name was Reggie. Mike marries as well. He marries a woman named Wendy. And they seemingly are going their separate ways, falling into these new lives, new routines, both co-parenting. Now, Pam has primary custody of their child, but, she comes over and stays with Mike and his new wife, on the weekends and whatnot. Well, Reggie and Pam, though, their relationship falls apart very quickly. She actually finds out that Reggie had been had a legal case against him, and he was because of a sexual assault that she didn't find out about until after they were married. And so they quickly go through a divorce. They're literally a year into the relationship and getting divorced already. So, but Mike, who is happy with his wife, has 2 daughters with his new wife, Wendy, and while continuing to co-parent with Pam and their daughter. So, this is like a relationship that, everybody's getting
seems to be
along.
benefiting everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Pam's, relationship fell apart, but, Mike and Wendy are seemingly very happy together.
Well, and kudos to her for being like, you're recognizing that he's kind of a piece of shit and leaving that relationship. So good for her.
Yeah. And in 1998, though Mike and Wendy eventually do separate, so they do have a bit of a falling out. They had everything was seemingly going well, but there were some things that were they were just like, we need to separate. This is not working out. They do separate. And they end up, Wendy's like, I'm going to file for divorce, all this stuff, had the paperwork drawn up and everything. And all to the point of it all about to go through. And then they're like, you know what? let's try this one more time. So Mike and Wendy do come back together. While they were separated, though, they both had been seeing other people. They had relationships. They knew they had, and they had decided that it was just best. You know what? Let's keep this private. We know we were seeing other people at the time. There's no reason to drag this out, make us feel a certain way. We both did it. Even playing field. We're back together. We're going to move forward. And this is all fine. This is all great, fine and dandy until Pam becomes aware that, Wendy becomes aware that Pam was the person that he was seeing.
Oh. That does change things. Yeah. It's someone with a history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would kind of expect if I was getting back together with my husband, maybe this is someone I have to see on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should mention that to me. You know, like, don't put me in the position to have to be in the room with you two where I'm the only one who doesn't know what happened.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not fair.
So fucking awkward.
Yeah.
And to that point as well, then it was like she confronts him about it and she ends up finding out because guess what? Pam calls her.
And tells her?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
Pam's like, so by the way, you might want to start dressing sexier because I think this is what he wants and blah, blah, blah. Like, basically, that's the way that they played it out in the show, which was also a little bit like, acted out. So
of course, they're going to like dramatize it. But like, if that is what happened, holy shit, is that fucked up.
Fuck you. So
yeah,
hard.
that's a huge
fuck you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he ends up, she's like, Wendy's like, fuck this bitch. I don't want her in my house. I don't want her around me. Obviously, they still have to see each other.
Right.
So it kind of forces him to, start to have to go to her place to pick up his daughter. And
things better.
She's not, and it doesn't make things better because they continue their affair.
Yeah.
And finally, Wendy and Mike decide to call it quits. It's 2002. And they're like, you know what? Enough's enough. And they decide to split
Good on you,
amicably.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Go get your groove back.
Yeah.
Eat,
Wendy,
pray,
go
love.
to Jamaica.
Yeah,
Get your groove back,
Go
girl.
get you a pina colada and lay on the beach.
Damn right. But they and for all intents and purposes, they end their relationship very amicably, and she's even interviewed on the show. So they are talking to her. She's like, a lot of things happen. Nobody's perfect. This relationship went south. It's whatever. But they also have 2 daughters to raise together. So they also have to.
So far for a Crazy in Love, like, these are some of the most like chill adults in any story we've ever done thus far. I know it's going to take a turn, but
yeah,
these are very chill people so far.
Yeah.
No, so now that Mike is free from, his relationship.
Free agent.
Yeah, he's a free agent. He and Pam start to, really turn their relationship into high gear. They were like, they were smitten with each other for years. And they were just, maybe it's just because we were too young. Maybe we were just 2 teenagers and just weren't prepared for the life that we could have had.
Yeah.
And they end up going to trips together and spending more time together. Pam eventually actually loses her job and ends up evicted. They allude to the fact that Pam loses her job and they literally say for reasons only known to Pam, because it doesn't sound like she loses her job because she's just, like a shitty employee. Like, there's obviously they spoke to coworkers and stuff like that. So it's like, this is suspect. So they also are just like, she ends up getting evicted from her house. So not only is she fired from her job, she's now evicted from her apartment. So she's been, they said like she was 6 months behind on rent before she even actually got kicked out of her place. So their daughter has to move in with Mike, and Pam asks if she can just crash there for a while until she can get back up on her feet again, and he, of course, they've been seeing each other. So he's like, you know what? Why not?
It seems like it seems like a turn in character for her. Like someone who's like a very responsible employee.
Yeah.
Like at the first signs that her new husband was kind of a piece of shit, like dropped him. Like this seems like someone who's responsible.
Yeah.
Like that. It's very strange.
It is a very different take. Takes her in a totally different direction from where you perceive her from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to that point, there again, there's some suspicion with people as they're talking about it. So it's funny to hear them say it, that she this might have been her plan all along, and that Pam and Mike decide that they would, Pam's living with Mike and he's, things are
heating up.
And
Right.
you know what? They're like, you know what? Let's let's give this another go. And again, you know, we were teenagers before, we're adults now. Like, let's try this again. You know, we can bring our family back together. It's funny because they had like psychologists on there, and the one was saying, you know, like this is every
Kids.
That's what I was going to say. Every
Dream come
divorced
true.
kid's dream come true, where they're like, my family's back together.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's like the end of all of those like very optimistic 90s movies where your parents get back together.
What was that one with Parent Trap?
Oh God,
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, they're like,
Been remade like 70 times.
they jumped
right.
through all kinds of hoops to get their parents back together. So
Yep.
So, you know, they give it another go. In fact, they give it so much of another go that Pam and Mike actually elope on a vacation in Florida. So they go to Florida together and they're like, you know what? Let's make it official. And they did it privately because they just didn't want anybody else's input. They were just like, you know what? This is our lives and we're going to do things our way. And you know what? Parents have blocked that last time and here we are. You know, let's do it.
you know, usually I would be like, good for you, but I have a feeling this is going to take a very negative turn.
Oh, you think
so?
it is
yeah,
a crazy-
yeah.
it's
It's
called
just
Crazy in Love?
It's
Called
just
Dead
a
Than
personal
Vows.
feeling. Just
Fatal
a personal
Vows.
feeling.
So you're telling me a show called Fatal Vows makes you think this is going to go south?
Yeah. I just, you know,
Cool.
in my heart, I feel that way.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
let's see how it goes. My next sentence literally says they quickly start to have problems. So here we go.
Okay.
Mike had a habit of using steroids. This is actually something Wendy also brings up. She said that even when they were together, he has always had a habit of doing steroids. He's kind of
Kind of a lifter or something, or just
Yeah,
for
he-
funsies?
he just loves
Yeah,
them.
I'm like, do you get a high from that? or
No, he
something?
was
Like,
doing
no.
steroids because he wants to work out. He's kind of a smaller guy as far as like muscle mass is concerned. So he wanted to build more muscle mass, come a little bit bigger. We all know how steroids are with people.
Sorry, I thought you just said come a little bit bigger, and I was like, that seems
Did I say that?
gross.
He just loves coming. And Pam as well, you know, he's using steroids and Pam has got a bit of a spending problem. So these two things together are not lining up very well.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's finding out she's finding his steroids. She's getting pissed because this is a big trigger for her. She's obviously like, you can't fucking be doing this.
She's a nurse. She's
Yeah,
like,
too.
this isn't good.
Yeah, obviously. And she's like, you become a different person when you're on him. There was accounts of him getting like actual rages where they'd be golfing and there was an incident where he threw a golf club and hit a tree and like, he's just like gets severely angry and he'd be playing video games and throw a controller at the TV and spit on the TV and do like wild like actions like where he's lashing out. And
I
she
hate that. Ugh.
it's seriously childish behavior.
Honestly, like dude face that I was married to, like would get so fucking angry at video games and I just like
Oh,
that's
the worst.
such
It's just a huge turn off.
off.
And like, I feel that way too with sports. Like people who get like insane
So
when they're
angry.
watching sports. Like, it's like, come on.
Like throwing a controller and spitting at the TV.
Okay, I wouldn't do that.
No, I mean, yes, there's being upset like that your team is losing or whatever, and then there's like screaming and throwing a tantrum. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
I can't say that Chris has probably not thrown the remote before. That probably did happen at a game, but I also didn't find it upsetting just because I was probably equally angry. Okay, let's move on to this story. This isn't about us.
Listen, I'm not on trial here.
Who are you? I'm not. So anyway, then quickly again, things go south. Pam, instead of paying bills, is out spending and spending all kinds of money.
Does she have a job now?
No, she's actually been doing like some temp work, but nothing that's really bringing in money. And basically her entire checks are going to frivolous things. Like Wendy was actually saying that, you know, one of the things that she mentioned was, you know, when her daughter needed a prom dress, it wasn't just like a prom dress they could afford. It was her whole entire paycheck prom dress. So it was that kind of just wild spending that wasn't, you know, and then bills weren't getting paid. And they end up having to coming to her door and repossessing her car. They also find out that she is like tens of thousands in dollars in debt to her daughter's school. They don't find that. Well, he doesn't find this out until they're at the fucking school at her graduation, and he opens up the envelope.
High school or college?
High school, I think. She was going to a private school, and he opens the thing, and it says, "Please see," like basically, "Please see the office," because it doesn't have a diploma in it. It's just like,
Yeah, they'll
you-
withhold your diploma.
Yeah. Which is not fair to her daughter. That's
No.
really fucked up.
That's fucking
Horrible.
Wild.
So tensions and angers increase. Mike's rages become more and more wild. Like I was saying, he's throwing shit. Like he's temper tantrums and
this poor kid living in this house.
And to that point, she starts to like just stay at friends' houses and stuff.
Yeah, I would too. It's stressful.
I mean, she's graduating from high school, and so she's just kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna stay friends.
Your parents are acting like children.
Yeah.
Well, one evening the police are called to the house. And they're called to the house because saying that Mike's going crazy. And so, okay, let's have a conversation about this, because this is where there's kind of two sides to the story.
Okay.
One is the story of Pam, who is like, you know what? Calling the police, and she's like, he's losing control. He's hitting me. And I need police, and they send police. By the time they get there, yes, there's some furniture overturned. There's things like that, but they don't notice any like actual visible marks on her or anything, and he's gone. So that was the police call. So the one side of it is Mike's mom is saying, you know what, like, I think this was fake, and I don't believe that this actually happened. And here's
That's your mom, though.
That's his mom,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's
of course,
what I'm saying.
of course
That's
she's
your
going to
mom.
say
Like,
that,
of course
right?
she's going to say that.
So, but her reasoning is because that she also thinks, you know what, I'll bring up some of that stuff later once we get to the trial stuff, because I think that once we get down to it, I'm going to share those sides. So the next call that comes in is on December 23rd, 2009. It's another 911 call that comes in, and it's Pam, and Pam lets the police know that, that they need to come. It's emergency. When they get there, the apartment is completely disheveled. And Pam says that there was a struggle, and Mike is on the floor dead from 2 gunshot wounds, one to his chest and one behind his ear.
Oh,
So did they never follow up with him about the domestic violence allegations?
So I'm going to come back to that a little bit. Okay. So now he's dead. I mean, this all happened fairly quickly, like within a few days. It's the 23rd of December, and their house is decorated for Christmas. And one of the things that the police noticed right away is that there is things are just turned over, but the police were like, it looked very much like things were turned over, not like a struggle happened and things were like tossed and broken. And he said specifically the things that were very expensive like decorations and ornaments and things like that weren't touched at all. So like the stuff that was like turned over or possibly broken and stuff were things that were like kind of cheaper. So it kind of felt very specific. And so he just thought that was like a little bit of a weird thing.
Okay.
So they do go back to this 911 call, and they talk to the 911 call, like the operator, and they describe it. They don't play it. So I would be very interested to hear the actual call, because the way that the woman describes the call, and she's like, I get a lot of domestic calls all the time, and anything can be different. She goes, but the thing that really stood out to her, and when they can listen to it, is that there's absolutely no background noise. Like you can hear like a little bit of like maybe things turning over or whatever, but there's no other person's voice. There's no background noise. And the thing, she's like, it sounds very much like, ow, he's hurting me. Ow, stop hitting me. Stop, ouch, you're hurting me. Ow. And it's literally just her. So it's not like somebody yelling at her.
Right.
There's nothing. There's no responses. There's no like secondary voice, which you would imagine would be the case if you're being hit by somebody.
And also, you're on the phone. So it's like, so are you beating someone, and while they're being like on the phone with 911, like that's just weird.
It is weird. So they thought it was weird, and they were like, that is weird. So they checked a little bit more into it. Mike was actually at work at that time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that right there, they were like, is this some kind of setup? Is she trying to create a precedent for domestic
She's a
abuse?
terrible criminal, first of all. She goes on our list of terrible criminals because you don't even do it when he's home or like when he's nearby. Like you do it when he verifiably has an alibi. Like, come on, lady, Pam.
So the other thing is then, so she explains that when the police get there and they find him dead, she's like, we'd had a really bad fight the last night. He'd come home. He slept in our daughter's room because she was gone. And in the morning he'd left and they didn't see each other. And then he came back that morning and he came back in a rage. He was on a roid rage, and she had to shoot him to protect herself.
Made up.
Well, they spoke to his appointment in the morning was actually with the dentist. So they spoke to the dentist and they were like, what was his demeanor? How was he acting? And they were like, he seemed perfectly fine. Like he came in for his dentist appointment. We didn't notice any behavior that was out of the normal. Like it was a regular appointment. Like,
well, here's the thing with this though. Like I think
and there is argument
I
here.
think that this probably because clearly that other incident was manufactured by her. I think that it's very possible that like this was made up, but I also hesitate to start going into speculation about like he couldn't possibly have flown into a rage that quickly because I'm like,
oh yeah,
he was on steroids. First of all, he was known to go into rages like publicly. Other people other than Pam had seen him go into rages, fly into rages. So there's nothing to say that just because he was fine at a like someone like that is fine at a dentist appointment that they're going to be fine for the rest of the day.
I totally
You know
agree
what I
with
mean?
you. And
So-
I think that's why it's important to have this conversation because I felt like
I mean that my position is only because of the literally the
Absolutely.
manufactured
Yes.
like
absolutely. And
911 call.
So to me,
now I'm like,
with that information,
Right.
But I think just the blanket statements of like the mom being like, he couldn't have been this way.
right.
It's like, yes,
Oh,
he
really,
very
Mom?
well
Yeah.
could have been this way.
Yeah.
I don't think he was in the way that she was saying that he was.
But she even
like,
admitted that he had rages, and it was
Yeah.
a notorious
So-
story about him
so
breaking a fucking golf club on a tree.
Right, right. So I don't like it when like conversations about like domestic violence happen this way, where it's just like, well, he was fine. Or like he seems like a nice guy to me. He's never been mean to me. I've never seen him behave this way. Where it's just like, well, that's not how domestic violence works.
I agree.
Right.
First
And
of
the
all. Like,
other triggering thing that they said in the story for me was that, oh yeah, well he didn't normally lash out at people. It was usually inanimate objects, but that doesn't mean that you won't.
Exactly.
And that is not a solid precedent of
anyone
behavior that can't turn into physical violence.
anyone
against
who's
the human.
capable of rages like that, where
Absolutely.
they lose control, where if you're in a public place and you lose control,
Right.
and you break something, right? Anyone who's capable of that is capable of hitting a person. If that person causes them to like feel that kind of rage, like, that's why I tell people all the time. I had a boyfriend who would punch holes in walls. And like, I never felt like he was going to hurt me. He never hurt me. I never felt like he was, but I tell people, I'm like, get out if your boyfriend is punching holes in walls.
Absolutely.
Because like that kind of like rage and aggression and unable to like deal with your fucking feelings in a healthy way
Gross.
is a problem. And it
absolutely.
will become a bigger problem.
Absolutely.
It's indicative of something worse.
Absolutely.
So like, back
and
up.
And it can't, and it doesn't mean that it won't turn into something
Exactly.
different.
Yeah.
And
Just
turn
because
into-
you feel safe doesn't mean that you are safe.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think too, with that being said, if you're not willing to address the issue, which is rage, with therapy or whatever, he's clearly in rage because of the steroids. The one thing that they did do as well, though, is of course they tested his body for, of course, a tox screen, and the tox screen did come back with some marijuana in his system. Not a big rage one.
Not a rage drug.
Not a big rage drug. And he did have some steroids in his system. But the medical examiner basically was like, you know what? He did, but the dose was very minimal and right on point with what his dosage should be if he was taking them to
Bulk up.
like to bulk up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it wasn't like a overdose or it wasn't like a higher dosage than what should be. There was nothing like telltale about it that made it seem like he would have been somebody who
Overly
gone into
aggressive
rage.
or-
Exactly.
yeah.
Again, we don't know about that too, because I think you can say that, but you don't know how drugs affect different people. I know people who can barely take Tylenol because
And was he taking the normal amount? Like, was he taking the normal amount the last time he went into like
There
a
you go.
rage and
Right.
broke something? Like, so I don't know that that's necessarily indicative of anything.
That's
either.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's where my thoughts were. And honestly, there were a lot of things though. I wanted to have this conversation about it because it is a struggle for me to, I do feel like they tried to paint her into a corner of a very specific way. Her mother absolutely says that she stands behind her daughter and says that she did this to save her life. Like this was not a question of whether she just wanted to kill him. It was about her saving her life. So,
Honestly, yeah, it would be a lot more of a conversation if she hadn't made up a 911 call.
Yeah,
That's it.
Absolutely.
And
That makes her look
premeditation.
guilty.
That's the most damning of evidence. And it all happened very quickly. The other thing that the police found as well is that she had pawned off her wedding ring to buy guns. So that was one of the other big things. And it all happened literally within a few days of each other.
So-
and the big one was that he also was ready to leave her.
Did she ever allege that he had been violent towards her in the past? Do you know what I mean? Because I could see if you're in a domestic violence situation, I could see manufacturing a situation where you're like, well, unless it's happening right now, I'm never going to get the upper hand. So I should just kill him and then tell people it was during a struggle because we've had struggles in the past.
Right.
But so did she ever allege that like there were that he'd hit her before or like they'd had
No, I think
fights
it was
before?
just the police call that they talked about. So, I mean, I do know that she had shared with her mother that he had. But that was, I mean, again, that's kind of, just her saying that.
Well,
to her mom, and that was kind of after the fact.
regardless, as awful as it would be if like she had been getting abused by him and then decided to kill him, can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you can't just decide, you can't just kill somebody.
The other side of the story is that it was known that he was leaving her. So he had just packed up his, TV. He'd been packing up his stuff and was moving back in with his mom.
Oh,
so here's the thing. You're about to get out of this quote unquote situation.
Yeah.
So, and if he's this abusive person, just let him leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then just go. To me, now I look at that and say, well, if he was leaving and you were about to be rid of the situation, then why,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
why kill him? And it seems to me
It's
that
very,
basically
it's
what
very
it,
suspicious.
what it boiled down to is that if she couldn't have him, she didn't want anybody else to, or that
money.
she wanted the money from his policies, now that they're married and she's on his, insurance policies, that she's basically going to be able to, pay off all of her debt and move on with her life.
Yep.
I'm sure is what she thought.
Well, yeah. I mean, have you ever watched an episode of Intervention that's shopping addiction? Mm-hmm. Those are bananas.
Oh, I
like
haven't,
those
and
episodes
I-
are like they're tragic. They're very
Really sad.
because it's a real addiction, just like anything else, and they
sure.
cannot stop. And these people are like tens of thousands of like dollars in debt, like hundreds of thousands of dollars in
It gives
debt.
me so much anxiety.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
anxious even thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So I mean, I could see someone trying to get out of that situation
Yeah.
with insurance money.
So, at all of it at the end of the day, she ends up getting charged with second-degree murder and gets 21 years with no parole. And again, her family still contends that she was defending herself, and of course, Mike's family is like,
If she hadn't made that fake 911 call, then maybe I might believe her.
I know.
but
Yeah.
I
it
kind
really
of
does
don't.
taint the situation,
Yeah.
and all of it. Yeah, all of it becomes very suspicious on all the things that happened, all the things that led up to this, the fact that this all kind of happened within days, and knowing that he's leaving, knowing that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So,
Yeah,
Oh, good one.
That's a good one. Yeah,
I freaking love Investigate. Investigate. Their shows.
Oh.
There's freaking,
so many good ones.
So many good
Good
ones.
ones.
yeah.
So, how are you guys?
I mean, it was no
watching?
Oscar Kakashka, but
Oh,
still my favorite, maybe. That was wild. So, the thing that I've been doing lately, because I
Yeah.
haven't watched much new stuff. I did start watching Good Behavior, which was pretty good, but I am loving Stumptown. Have you guys watched that?
Oh, I saw the pilot.
It's
Yeah.
super good.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
good.
it a lot.
I saw the
Prodigal
pilot.
Son kind of sucks. I
don't
wanted
like
it to be
it.
so good, but
I-
Stumptown's where it's at for me.
I watched the pilot for Prodigal Son, and I'm like, I just couldn't.
I watched 2 seconds of the trailer and I was like, this looks so fucking shitty.
It was so cheesy. It was
I had the other way around. I was like,
incredibly.
"Oh, this looks so
I
good."
liked the concept.
Yeah.
I liked the concept, but the execution, it's so cheesy. It is so cheesy that I'm just like, I can't.
Is it network TV?
Yeah.
I
Ugh,
think it's like
network
NBC
TV
or
is the worst.
Yeah, the
now.
idea is so great, but that Stumptown is
ABC.
the network too, and I actually really like it, but I love her.
right. Well, it's a completely different kind of show, though.
Yeah.
That which that show is good. Yeah,
I liked it.
Stumptown.
I thought it was good.
Well, I watched the pilot and I liked it.
Yeah,
Um,
it gets better too.
Oh,
It
yeah?
continually
Yeah.
gets better. Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
really
what I
good.
would keep watching.
What was Good Place a network TV show?
Yeah.
That one was actually, I liked that. I
There
think
are a
that's the
handful of good network
last
shows.
like network thing
They have their
that I
last
liked.
season this year.
That is a super cute show. I like that.
Yeah. That and Modern Family are both leaving.
Yeah,
I love
ABC.
both of those.
Yeah, Modern Family's on ABC, and it's on its final season as well. I've been watching a few things. So
I've been watching Schitt's
I've been
Creek.
watching Schitt's Creek. Oh man,
You
it
sent me the fold the cheese thing.
It
He's
is
like, if you tell me
just
to fold the cheese one more time.
He is
So
amazing.
funny.
Dan
So
Levy,
funny.
He is so good.
So attractive.
He is so good. He's so funny. Like
Hot
he
take.
truly makes that show for me. Like
Yeah.
wow.
And her too, Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara's
Oh my god! But she's like Herb Lurbenberg,
I loved it.
the finest wine.
It made me.
Oh my God, that's such a funny episode.
I loved the episode where they have to do the funeral, and she stands up. Oh, daddy boy,
the pipes, the best.
that show truly like it takes you a minute. I feel like it takes a few episodes to get its groove, but
oh my
once it gets
God.
its groove, it is so good. It's so funny. I went and saw The Joker. So I mean, we could talk about that for a minute. I liked it. I actually did like it. I had complicated feelings when I left the theater because I was just like,
I want to see
No.
it. I still haven't seen it, but
Joaquin Phoenix's performance is insanely good.
Oh.
He is very, very, very good in it. But yeah, I mean, it hit on a lot of different issues. I did like it. I thought it was good.
Good.
But I mean, draw your own conclusions. But the one thing that I really, really wanted to shout out was, and I keep tagging Christina in these, every year there's this insanely good makeup artist. She goes by Pompberry on Instagram and YouTube, and she does Pompoween, which is just every single day.
Oh, yeah.
She does a new.
you have not tagged me in this.
I did because I tagged you, and she did The Sandman.
Oh,
and then she
that's
also
right.
did Death. She did Death the next day.
Oh.
And from the Sandman series, and she does a different look every single day of October, which is a
So
ton of
wild.
work.
Yeah.
It's insane work, and her work is so good. I just love watching her like transform. Like they're so good. So like if you are into that kind of thing, or you just want to see like some really incredible like artistry,
tag me in her. Yeah.
like
I
go-
did hear that there was this girl.
Wild.
Yeah, she is
Holy shit.
incredibly
I saw the
good.
Sandman one, but holy crap.
And her like sped up Instagram videos where she's like doing, doing it at the high speed, because the YouTube videos are her doing it in kind of more real time, not real time because it takes like 4 hours, but
Jeez.
like yeah,
Fucking
she's-
David Bowie.
Yeah, her Labyrinth is so good. So yeah, I just, I like to shout out kind of like smaller creators too, like, because that's work, man. Just putting in that work, and it's great.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
so check
shouting
her
out. What have I been watching? Oh, I'm like 4 episodes deep in that Vice documentary series, The Devil You Know. It is a fucking journey.
Is it on HBO?
No, it's
Vice.
It's a
Vice.
Vice documentary. I've been watching it on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, Vice is on HBO, so maybe they have it on there.
No, I think they have their own channel now, because that's what we found it on Vice channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But okay. So, dude face, like, it's just going in a completely different direction than I thought it was going in. But
Really?
you really need to watch it. I'm like, where is this going
I
now?
love it when documentaries do that.
Because and then that's the thing, is that we watch so many of these things where I'm like, I feel like I know my way
know what's
around
next. Yeah.
this, and I'm like, I surely do not. This is getting a little crazy. So
I know I've brought it up before, but if you guys have not watched Tickled, that documentary, the way it took a turn was so wild. Like wild.
okay,
Like,
so,
because I was just like, okay, we're talking about, because they were like,
Tickle fetish, right?
Yeah, tickle fetish. Like, we're going to just like, isn't this weird? And then it like took such a weird, like scary turn.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So
I do need to pick a good horror movie for tonight, because Scientist is coming over.
ooh. You know what I really want to watch still? I want to rent it. I want to watch Ma.
No, I heard it was terrible.
Really?
I heard it was horrible.
I still want to watch it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I did not. I was like, wait. When I saw the trailer
no,
for
I'm
that,
thinking of
I was
Mother.
like,
Oh, Mother. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I saw the trailer for that and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, what is happening?
What is happening?
Yes,
It's
that's
the
what I mean. It looks
wildest-
weird.
It looks weird.
If you want to be scared, but it's kind of slow, Hereditary scared the shit out of me.
Oh, I heard that was
no,
scary
I don't
as
want to
fuck.
be that
Yeah,
scared.
I was-
I need.
'cause I don't
I'm
get
looking
scared.
at medium scary.
You want like a campy scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, best campy scary movie ever. Have you guys ever seen Sleepaway Camp?
No.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Oh my god. So the budget for this movie was probably 89 cents.
Oh.
One of the murders in it, someone got killed by bees. Bees. Someone else got killed with a pot of boiling corn.
Oh, I love it. Oh, you know what? You could watch. Oh no, that one's. It's kind of weird. I watched In the Tall Grass, that like Stephen King one on Netflix, and it was fucking so weird.
Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to watch the one with that one chick in it. That's a great description,
Yeah.
Christina.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know
great
exactly what I'm
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
I'm like, why don't you know? Because the one where she's like handcuffed to the
Oh yes,
and it's got that chick face
that
in
one
it.
is a Stephen King one too.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like they're having they're like married. They're a married couple. Well, there are two different married couples who are having an affair with each other. So nobody knows about their affair. It's a Stephen King book. They go to a camp, or not a camp. They go to a cabin in the woods, and nobody knows that they're there. And they're like into BDSM. So she is like handcuffed to the bed, and he's having sex and has a heart attack on top of her
And dies.
And she can't get out. And she can't get out, and nobody knows they're there because no one knows they're having an affair.
How anxious are you now?
Oh my god, so anxious.
That's the kind of scary I'm looking for. Maybe we'll
there
put
you
that
go.
on tonight.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then you guys are going to be like, good night. You sleep on your side of the bed. I'll sleep on my side of the bed.
When you stayed over the other night, because obviously I don't have like a ton of overnight guests or whatever. So like in the morning, he like rolled over and like went to pull me in. And I was like, because I forgot I had somebody. And he's like, it's okay.
I'm also not a snuggler at all.
No, I definitely am, but I guess I need
put
to
off.
get
Yeah. Like, what the
used to it again. I'm like not used. I'm
that's
used to
funny.
having the whole bed.
Jeez.
Well, if you've got stories, suggestions of stuff that we should watch, or just want to get in touch with us, go to our one-stop shop of a website that now has merch at myworstatepodcast.com. And thank you so much for listening. We love you.
Cheers.
Little Red Riding Hood was told by her mother to bring a basket of food to her sick grandmother. Her mother warns her that the woods are dangerous and tells her to make sure she stays on the path she knows. Along the way, Little Red comes across a wolf. And since she's never seen a wolf before, she doesn't know to be careful. Fool Me Twice follows the story of my mother, Jules Hannaford, in her attempts to find love online. I'm Zara Hannaford, and in this series, I'm trying to understand romance scams, why people fall for them, and how they work. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. My mother was successful and happy in her life and her job, but was still lonely. After being single for more than a decade, she turned to online dating as a last resort. At first, it seemed she was consistently meeting men who were not good enough. One after the other, they seemed to only want her for her money, and she was beginning to lose hope. Finally, she met a man who had his life together. Truman was a project manager at a construction firm and seemed as excited as Jules was about the possibility of building a life with someone special. She traveled across the world to meet him, and as soon as she landed, the fairy tale began to unravel. All was not as it seemed.
Everything inside me was screaming I had to get out now. But I knew that if I woke him up, it would be all over. Strangely, it was in the dark that I was able to see it all clearly. This man had been manipulating me, conning me out of my money, and I'd fallen for it hook, line, and sinker.
This podcast is an exploration of the ugly side of online dating.
A romance scam is a concerted effort by an individual to engage in a relationship that develops eventually to be able to generate a financial return.
I was feeling so sick with fear that I knew I had to leave, run, and try and save what I could of my money and my dignity.
My mother realized that she was far from alone in this. There were other scam victims all over the world who had stories that were strangely similar to hers.
It was all different reasons why he needed all these fees. Anyway, I ended up paying up to $40,000.
And my daughter was like, Mom, you have to confront him. Just block him. Change your number. And I'm like, no, I can't.
As I got deeper into investigating this strange world of deception and false identities, I began to learn new words to describe what was going on.
The term catfishing refers to the act of using social media and internet and other means of non-one-to-one communication in order to create an alternate persona for primary or secondary gain.
Brian Denny is a retired military officer whose name and image have been used hundreds of times in fake profiles.
So it was chilling. The first time I did a search on Facebook of just my name and saw double digits of accounts with my pictures.
And, incredibly, Jules was able to find and interview a real scammer from Ghana. She asks him whether he ever develops feelings for his victims.
Sometimes you have feelings, sometimes business.
Beware, my friend, trouble roads are to come. Tall grass on snakes, fall not through their trunk. Lift your head, forget the dance in your pride. Sometimes in life, we need to be fooled twice.
Fool Me Twice, a true crime podcast, will be released on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the Ozcast network on the 25th of October. Subscribe now so that you don't miss an episode.
This is a Glassbox Media Podcast.